Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
It's the After the Show podcast, precious.
We don't care, we're about to swear on the air. It's the After the Show, so tune in if you dare. KVJ, get your skate every single day. It's uncensored. We can say what we want to say.
Yeah, here we go. What's up? From the chat room, the Checkout Live. Apologize, we're running a little bit late here today.
It's my fault.
Back in it, yeah. It's all right. We're going to give you a hard time. You already had a hard time.
I had something I had to do, and it took up the studio. So all I can see is Kevin pacing in the window behind me. I'm like, oh shit. That's the worst.
Boy.
When you know you have to do something, and people are waiting, and you don't have that much control.
But they were like, oh, it's just like 5 questions. And so we were like, well, just 5 questions. Yeah, do it. But then the setup was 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It happens. I apologize.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's all right. It's fine.
Yeah, you fuckers have made me wait before, too.
Kevin just punched Denny's. He was so mad.
He threw Denny's. He threw him down the stairs. Poor sweet Denny's.
Come here, Denny's. Let's see here. We got some emails, comments, stuff like that coming in here. One about today, talking about the cheating. We had talked to a dad, Graham, and he had found out that his son, and for a while, maybe the last couple of years, he turned his grades around, has been getting straight A's for the last couple of years, and apparently there's something going on at the school where there's like student assistants that help teachers grade papers, and so they've got a little system going down where they're taking it and they're selling the exams and getting forward, stuff on that, and so that's one of the reasons why he's been doing so well. And Graham's like, okay, I could really teach him the hard moral lesson and go to the school, turn him in, stop this whole racket from happening, or at least alert them that it's going on. And my son, likely, though, he's been accepted to a couple schools, though. You raise the flag of academic fraud, it's probably going to go on up, and he'll probably not be accepted to those schools. And some people are like going, hey, tough. That's just the lesson that you got to learn. An email here, this is kind of interesting, sheds a little bit more light on it. Lauren is on. It says, yeah, it happens in college all the time, is companies actually sell answers to everything. That's why she says deal with it at home. And somebody else said, look, his SAT, if he still got in, he had to have a really good SAT. And I know if it's a prestigious school, talking to my son Colin yesterday and just knowing what he went through. He went to a good high school, and he missed, I think it was 1 on the SAT.
Oh, my gosh.
And he got denied from a lot of schools.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there were a couple people had perfect scores on the SAT. I'm like, wait, what? And he was talking about a couple of people. He went to one of the heritage schools, American Heritage, and there were a couple kids. I wasn't anywhere near there, but there were a couple kids flawless. They had never gotten anything less than like an A+ or whatever. They had perfect scores in the SATs, and there was one kid that had the perfect score that got denied from every Ivy League school. I'm like, wait, what?
At that point, you can take your Ivy League school and you can stick it where the sun don't shine.
Yeah, because you have to do an interview. It's how you interview. It's other projects that you've done in the community. So apparently there are so many freaking high-end brainiacs in America that I'm like, wait, what?
You have to have a personality and people skills.
It blew my mind. I'm like, how do you not? I didn't know it was that. I'd not say it's commonplace, because I think the really smart kids, they'll even gravitate towards these high schools. I think even the high schools will give them, like my son Colin had a scholarship because they want smart kids to go to the school, so they'll give you a break on the fee. So he pretty much was nothing to go to school because it looks good for the school.
Sure.
When they can say that we had 25 kids accept Ivy League schools, then other kids will pay. Yeah, turn that damn light off. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah, what is that
I feel like
light?
I'm in the disco. That to me, as I was watching my son go through it, kind of opened my eyes to it. And there are a lot of kids that are then waiting in the wings. That's what, one kid who is one of those kids said, look, I mean, every spot at these high-end schools is a coveted spot. And I'm sitting here waiting, and if some kid cheated his way in, That's just not cool, and that's not fair. And so you can imagine, if you're a high-end school and you found out a kid was cheating at all, you're not going to let that kid in.
Especially if you're a kid that's been sacrificing, you're the A++ kid, and then you don't get it. And that's got to be someone that works that hard, a mind like that.
Yeah.
They're going to take not getting into that school so hard.
And it is a big difference when you're talking about what you make coming out of school, where you've got a Harvard or an MIT or something along those lines that's on your resume. Yeah, you start talking about in the real world, in the real life of it, people are like, oh, somebody's like, world needs ditch diggers too. I get all that kind of stuff, but these are kids just, like I said, when I got a glimpse of high-end academia and what it's all about, what these kids are busting their ass for and giving up Friday and Saturday nights, not having any social life and all that kind of stuff. Like I was talking to my son Colin yesterday about it because, he's already starting to apply for grad school. He has to do that for what he does. And he's, goes to a pretty accredited school. Doesn't go one of the higher ends, but he goes to a pretty good school with like a top 10, chemical engineering thing. He's got a 3.6. And he's like, I'm not. He's like 3.7's pretty much the cutoff for getting into like your MIT or Stanford. He's like, I really need probably like a 3.9 or almost a 4. And he's like, and my classes are, and this is a kid that missed one on the SATs, and he's like, so I'm like, there are a lot of kids like that.
Wow.
So, it kind of gives you a little bit of perspective when you're talking about Graham's argument. And a couple of people really pissed off saying, if this kid's doing that, not cool, because there are a lot of kids that are super smart, working their ass off, and this kid's cheating, and he's getting his way in, and they need to stop the racket. And the kid needs to pay a hard price, and maybe community college isn't enough.
It's like roids in baseball.
Yeah.
And people always say roids made the game so much more fun. But imagine if you're somebody that did not do steroids and you're competing the best of your ability with your true talent, and all these other son of a bitches are juicing up and have almost super strength against you and your natural talents.
So, I think when it comes to Graham catering whatever his punishment's going to be, I think the punishment should be, and it would be a crushing punishment that if you got accepted, he didn't want to name the schools and all that kind of stuff, and he didn't give his real name, but if it was a Harvard or an MIT or something like that, not getting into that school is going to be, that's a crushing blow. Now he could wind up at another school. Like I said, my son goes to Michigan, which is a tier down, I think, ultimately, when you look at some of those schools. I don't even know.
But at the end of the day, though, let's say you don't get into the Ivy League school. I know in the moment you're devastated. You can still make shit happen.
Oh, I agree. And
go to any school, make it happen.
It's not that. It's just what it is if someone has been sacrificed. And I'm more looking at the kids that if Graham's kid takes their spot, they're like, I have sacrificed so much. And I get it. It's not like the end of the world, and there are bigger problems. But you know how much I've sacrificed for this, and it sucks.
Well, at the age of 18, you are, and that's what you've been doing your whole life, and all of a sudden you're not getting into school because someone else cheated. Yeah, you're gonna be really fucking pissed.
But you'll never know.
I know, but if Graham's listening to this, if your son does take one of those spots and he cheated his way into it from somebody who deserved it and worked for it, that's not cool. That's not cool. Whatever your punishment is for your son, it shouldn't be something where they can take away from somebody that legitimately worked for it. And ultimately, I think the toughest thing to do is, taking the kid and be like, going, look, man, you do the crime, you got to do the time, buddy. This is just what life is. This is why you've got the first thing you have to have. I was listening to somebody the other day, and they said, and they have a pretty successful business, and they said, the 3 points to the success of my business was 1, integrity, being honest and trustworthy. Excellence, going the extra mile, doing the stuff that other people aren't willing to do or where they would cop out, I would go the extra mile. And 3, keeping strife out of your life or an angry undercurrent with bickering. Like if you have drama in your office and somebody's like one of those backstabbing people that's causing unrest, get rid of them.
That's what Lindsay Lohan does on her show, Kev. As soon as she sees that drama, she kicks that shit out.
This was actually Lindsay I talked to.
You are kind of breaking down Lohan Beach Club.
Integrity.
Sad thing is, I haven't missed an episode. Damn. I'm caught up.
Who's your favorite?
I hate to say it, I think it's Lindsay.
Yeah.
I love her guy. the Mykonos guy who's with her. Oh my God, he's amazing.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail you, Kev.
Oh no, I hear you, but what you're saying, and number one in that is integrity. And if you let it slide, integrity being, if you want to be as, have the highest level of integrity, it'd be turning yourself in and saying, the kid walks in and said, I've been doing this and I don't deserve this. And yeah, it's going to really suck. And I'm going to get majorly smacked down. But then he may rebound, and later on in life, it may set himself back up.
That'll happen.
What he'll need to be an ultimate success.
That'll happen right after you hear and cut, because that's a
I
movie.
hear you, but some people
time.
are arguing, saying that's the problem with what we got going on. That's what we should be teaching people, that's what you should do. That if you do that, you got to have the integrity to say, look, if you're going to do something like that, then you need to step up and take it.
But here's the problem. I think that you talking about the teenage brain, which is underdeveloped and makes really stupid decisions.
Sure.
Should that teenage brain that made a bad decision be punished for their future? And for me, I don't want to have to support this kid of mine. So I'm not messing up his college possibilities because I'm going to teach him a lesson.
What would be the difference? Okay, 18-year-old commits a crime, old enough to know right and wrong, and you can be 18 years old, commit a crime, and your life is ruined. And that's the way it goes when you do. I mean, you could argue cheating to get into a college when it's completely false.
It's not punishable by
Well, the kid,
law.
yeah, but
It's still
the
pretty-
laws of academia. It is, and this kid knew clearly what he was doing was wrong. There was no
Sure.
doubt about that.
Of course, but
And then
should he suffer the rest of his college career?
That's part of making a mistake.
Unfortunately, that's what happens in life. You fuck up to a point where you are now causing other people shit, and you're blocking spots for people.
Right. And sometimes the harder the lesson, the more it's going to stick. And so this might actually set him up better later on in life because he learns the hard way about integrity. So when he can probably still wind up in a decent school or getting whatever he does. And,
it's not over for this
But
cat.
then when he sets foot into life, he's like, I'm going to make sure that I do things the right way because I tasted the pain of when I didn't, and I know what can cost you. And maybe changing that, having that perspective, he might wind up in life a bigger success than if he cheats his way into a high-end school and wherever that gets him, where he doesn't have integrity, and then somewhere down the line, he really screws up.
I'm not a rat. I'm not ratting him out to the school. I'm going to take care of this internally.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that, because if we're talking about my family members, yes, I'm going to try to protect them.
You're talking about your child.
But you do have to they have to know that they're wrong.
Of course.
And they do have to pay something.
I mean, it's probably going to get violent.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat the shit out of you. What are you doing?
But think about you. But you nailed it. Think about when you were 18, the shit that would get to you mentally, emotional. You think I'm emotional now? Imagine an 18-year-old bird, just so virginal,
So pure.
so
pure.
pure. And then liquor. Age 19, it all changed.
John's the one that sent the email yesterday that was about the misconnections and why I put the poll up to see, okay, all right, of these 4, what do you miss the most? He said, as a longtime listener, I noticed this is the second time you tried to get rid of the misconnections bit. Last time you made up excuses that Craigslist was dropping it, and you got all kinds of messages telling you that people wanted it back. Misconnections and Drunk Girl Trivia are your best bits. If you want to get rid of something, I recommend the No Name Movie Game. I find it very boring. I skip through it every time. See, and that's just it.
That's one. I mean, again.
Well, and that's why I put up the poll to say, okay, I'm just kind of curious. I mean, that's how he feels. How do a majority of people feel? And without a doubt, Think Fast was the lowest on that. And like 40% of the people are like, No Name Movie Game was the favorite. And then Misconnections and Drunk Girl Trivia were both tied, which kind of tells me that, a little bit of time, maybe a little bit of tweaking, they come back and, then we're all good. But yeah, for right now, it's time to take a little bit of. I think what we're doing is right on.
Yeah, for Drunk Girl Trivia, I'm not against the bit. I'm against me doing it is all. That's the only thing. I don't want you to think I'm like, oh, Drunk Girl's the worst. If you want to bring that back, I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't like hosting it anymore. Is all. That's it.
So, maybe one day it'll come back. Different look and all that kind of stuff.
Virginia.
Yeah.
Drunk boy trivia.
I am completely fine with you interviewing me drunk. That's great. I don't like being the host of that bit.
EJ said, read my lips can go too. You know what? It already has.
It's been gone. You need to listen to the show more often because we haven't played that in about 4 months.
Yeah, that's been gone for a while. Let me see. Got an email here from Sarah. Said, hey, I was just listening to Wednesday's show. The segment Denny's Knows When You're High. Jacko had me laughing so hard. That guy was a star. So I had an idea. What if you guys got Jacko's phone number and randomly called him just to see if he's high? Just a space filler type of thing. I just want to hear more from Jacko. Jacko, whatever his name was. I just also think you should bring back the segment for a round or two of what did your parents do when you were a child that you didn't know. It was weird until you were older. I was homeschooled from first grade on to graduation. My father taught us everything we needed to know, except my dad is a conspiracy theorist. So when he taught us history, it was history from the history book so he can pass, but then he would spit the truth about JFK, the real evolution of humans, and so on. Dad was crazy. There you go.
Since we're talking about bits we want to bring back, there's one bit I would love to bring back just for one time. We used to do it back at Wild a lot. What's in the bag, biatch? And I know it's hard to execute.
Yes.
It's been so long since we've done it. I think we got one solid round left, Coach.
Yeah.
Would you bring that back?
Well, it was tricky because there were a couple things with it. One, people have gotten a lot more squirrely.
I can handle it. I can do it.
Yeah, because I think to do it, like, we had to record it, and so we were kind of like waiting in the studio. I remember we were going a while, and I'm like, this is like 45 minutes, and we're still here trying to record something. And then you got to get people's like permission, I think, to put them on.
A wiser bird.
Yeah.
A more efficient bird knows how to get that done quicker.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because you have to be like, hey, it's Kevin or Jay-Bird from the KVJ show. And
I'll just bring out a couple of prizes and say, play this radio game with me, blah, blah, blah. And we'll be good to go.
Yeah. Okay. We can give it a shot.
I just want to go back to the old school. Just it was fun bringing Mystery Sound back. I love Mystery Sound. The problem with the Mystery Sound is trying to think of good mysteries because they're almost like a little mini stunt in one. You weren't here for the Mystery Sound we did. I cheesed my dad as he was playing guitar, and he was so caught off guard.
Did it stick?
It did for a second, and then it fell off.
That's awesome.
Hey.
Yeah, he's playing guitar. You hear, hey, Jaybird, what the hell?
Okay, let me see here. We got Lacey who says, Jaybird is my smoker soulmate. Just want to make it a point that Jason and I need to smoke and eat all the junk food. After listening to the After the Show podcast today, we could definitely hang with some cold canned ravioli, cold Chinese food, and we could order from a bunch of pizza places and compare notes. I've always loved the show, and I've been listening since I was in kindergarten. Now being 25, I'm convinced that Jason and I are long-lost relatives or soulmates. That's all Bigfoot is real. All right.
Is that from a guy or a girl?
I don't
Lacey.
know. Lacey. Okay.
Lacey. Lacey panties.
Thank you for the kind words, Lacey.
There you go. Got this interesting email from Allison. I heard you guys talking about the Neverland documentary, and I wanted to share my weird experience with Michael Jackson.
Ooh, you have one?
When I was about 8 years old, I modeled for Gap Kids, and I had posters up in their stores nationwide. My mom and I went to the mall in Miami when the posters first went up and asked them to hold the posters when they take them down because my mom wanted them.
Aww.
When we went back to pick them up a few weeks later, the manager told my mom that Michael Jackson was in their store a few days ago wanting to buy the poster I was in.
Really?
Super creepy. Thought I would share. Love you guys. I attached the picture he wanted to buy. It's about 20 years old, hanging up in my parents' garage. And you can see there's definite kids just on there smiling.
Interesting.
Yeah. Who knows? Fascinating stuff.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to know the truth on that one.
Nope. Probably not.
We're having a terrible time with the internet. I know people are complaining like crazy. For some reason, our internet's down. If anyone's listening, if people want to know what's happening, it's glitchy. It's literally impossible to watch.
Yeah, I
right
couldn't
now.
get anything on my phone. My phone's not working, so.
I know, it sucks. This is like the 5th time in 2 weeks this has happened, and the people are getting pissed, which I don't blame them.
We're having, oddly enough, like we had pretty smooth conversion when we went from Digity to Alpha. And I think that's kind of spoiled us, and things are not as smooth moving from Alpha to Hubbard, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. We told you that Alpha had sold a couple of the internet towers that we need for the good transition, and then today people were trying to sign on to our apps, and that was gone, and we don't know that, somewhere in transitioning between the two, I hear things are maybe, I don't know, communication's got to be smooth and everybody's got to be cool, and I don't know if it's going cool.
I just know that people want to listen to the
Yeah.
After the Show podcast, and they're starting to leave, and I understand why, because it's fucking unwatchable.
Yeah, so I apologize. I mean, you're trying to find us on apps, you're trying to get us online, and yeah, it's a pain in the ass, and I hate it because, honestly, we're held captive like you are. Trust me, we would love to get it fixed. We'd love to make something happen. But we need our company to spend money and get equipment and do things like that to get it done. And, it's just a mess right now, and we can't get a lot of stuff done. And we hear what you're saying, and I get you. I mean, if you're like, I got to bail now and wait till later when I can hear it and it's posted, I get it. Do it. I'm sorry we're not providing a good product for you right now.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, that's just. I just want the people to know
Yeah.
that
We
we know
acknowledge it.
that we are giving
Yeah.
you a shitty product, and we are very
Yeah.
sorry about it.
And we're trying, and every day. Constant emails, constant complaints, constantly trying to make things happen. And we hope it's a short, rocky period. But yeah, this is a tough part of, when everything with KVJ I can control. Within our sphere I can. But, we got other departments and we got other things, and we rely on other departments, all that stuff to ultimately make our brand great and to work. And when they don't uphold their end of the bargain for the commitment that I want to have to do a good quality product, then it fails.
I mean, and I'm not trying to make this a rant, but this is like 101. We can't even get the internet to work, and this has
Well,
been
we can't
going
get
on.
phones,
This
you
has
know,
been
we
going on
can't
for
get-
so long.
yeah,
I'm
I
not trying to be complaining, but our listeners they're fucking pissed, and I get it.
Trust me, for every ounce of anger you have, I have times 10.
I know.
Maybe 100. So I get it. And it's a really tough time right now that makes you rethink everything you're doing. I don't know. Trust me. Anybody's got any solutions? Please let me know. I'd love to have it. Anyone want to pay the KVJ show so we can go freelance right now, and then I can get away from companies and buy our equipment, all that stuff? If I had a millionaire right now that would drop a check on me, that would get the equipment, yeah, I would just say, screw all these guys, and we'll just go do our own thing, and we'll sell it back. But yeah, I don't have that.
I just don't want people to think we're being divas, but when you don't have a working internet and you don't have working phones and you don't have a working phone screen and it goes longer than a month and a half, we're going to war without any weapons, and
Yeah.
it's just very frustrating.
I hear you. It is. We're doing what we can. Like I said, we're in control of content, putting it together, and that's what we got.
And our guy, Brian, is in there talking to Denny's right now. Now, he's on our team. He knows that all this stuff is messed up too, but it's funding. It's just somebody
Yeah.
upgrading our equipment and upgrading our software and
Gotta get stuff
upgrading
that
our
works, yeah.
everything. All that is money. And y'all know, if you work for a big company, you know how hard it is to get big companies to pay a lot of money for equipment.
So the streaming is not working on YouTube, but the comments are, and all people are saying, "We love you guys, but we can't even hear your apology right now. They can't even hear us apologize."
Yeah.
Is this thing on?
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's just it. I mean, you'll be able to hear this in a different form posted later.
right.
There'll be fine. It's
Just not live.
for the live audience right now. So that's just unfortunately what it is. So, yeah, when this isn't working, just I totally understand. If you got to bounce for now and catch it later, then we'll do that. And we're trying to fix everything. We're doing everything we can. And trust me, I'm looking outside everywhere. I'm like, okay, because I me, that's my number one. If we had to say KVJ credo and rules, it's create a great customer experience.
Yeah.
So that we're easy to access and everything's good and we take care of everybody. and
Everybody walks away
people-
happy.
Yeah, that's number one rule. And trust me, so when that rule is violated as much as it's been violated over the last couple of months, it's tough. And it leads me to other places to say, okay, I might have to look outside myself to find other solutions, and there's anything there.
Well, I just want to know personally: is this our new reality? Is this where is this every day we log on? Is there going to be a chance for the rest of our?
I don't
the
know.
internet's
I don't know
working.
if it is. Like I said, I mean, then we have to find other solutions. If we can't get a company that's going to help give us working equipment, then seriously, we go out and we crowdfund and we find enough money, and we have somebody to be like, okay, here's what we need to get the equipment and blah blah blah, and then KVJ goes on our own where we can control the quality of what we do. Man, that's just how you do it. That's what anybody would tell you. Be like, Kev, well,
Put
here's
the
what you would
power
do.
back in your hands.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, that takes a crazy amount of money because that's
lot
the
of
one thing.
money.
A big company like this provides the funding and the shell that we need to do it. And trust me, I've even looked. Okay, if we went freelance and sold the show back to RMF and all that kind of stuff, what would that take? That takes a good nugget of money.
And a tremendous infrastructure.
Yeah, absolutely. So if somebody has the funding and would like to provide the infrastructure and do that so that we can do it and then get us a new studio and new equipment so that everything's flawless.
We'll leaf blow Jay Bird every day.
Every day.
Without goggles, I'll take it to the eyeball every single day.
You hit me up right now.
Stick pins in that thing.
Yeah, we'd love to do it.
I'm just getting so sick of getting yelled at by listeners.
Well, I hear you. We're, like I said, we're doing what we can. We're doing what we can with what we got right now, and it is frustrating. So, but we're trying. We're trying. Just know that. You see a couple of questions for the ATS. Tracy said, what happened to Jay Bird's brother? Last we heard he was missing, and there was some sort of scam associated with that situation. Does he have a close relationship with him? With the new copyright rules that you have to follow now, do the other morning shows, for example, Mojo, Dave Ryan, Elvis, do they have to comply too? Tracy, yes. As always, your biggest Orlando fan. I'll handle the copyright stuff. Yes, copyright rules are going to be the same for everybody. And it's just, like it's our new company. It's Hubbard. And somebody told me that used to work for them in St. Louis that apparently, they had gotten smacked down. Somebody sued them and they lost. And it was the copyright stuff. So now they're, hey, look, you get burned. That's kind of what happened. So they're
You don't want to keep getting sued and not correcting.
And ultimately, for the benefit of us, yes, we're heading in the right direction.
It's just
on
painful.
doing this stuff. But there's stuff, because I'll listen into Elvis occasionally and Dave Ryan a good bit and Mojo even. And I've heard some stuff on there that might be. I know, for instance, Elvis on his phone scams used to use a copyrighted music bed to kick off the phone scams. And so I don't know if he's still doing that. I haven't heard the phone scams for a while. But if they're putting those podcasts up, and you would think a show as big as Elvis nationwide and all that stuff, that they even have the money and they bought the bed rights. I don't know. It's possible they might have that. But it's the same rules apply. It's a matter of being caught, and it's a matter of having rights to it. And like I said, my simple fix for our company, if they would do it, can you just find a way? Can you get a package? Will a package be created where we can buy rights that it could exist on podcasts? But like I said, right now we can't get a working internet or phone, so we are dealing with 101. That's a higher end.
We can't even think about 102.
Right. I'm not optimistic on. Okay, what about your brother? What's the status on that, Jay Bird?
Yeah, no, I'm close with everybody in my family. Whether if we have a falling out or if we don't talk, we always come back to each other. And I'm very close with my brother. He lives in New Jersey now. Mm-hmm. My oldest sister lives in Oregon, and my youngest sister lives here in West Palm Beach. I got a niece here locally. I got nieces up in Orlando. I actually have some Rhode Island people in Orlando as well. But I still talk with my brother.
Okay.
He's not in the area anymore.
Okay. All right, there you go. So, questions answered. If you got anything else for us that you'd like to know, you can let us know. Mail at kvjshow.com, and we will get it here on the show for you. Tomorrow, Friday, weekend.
Yeah.
Oh,
baby.
yeah.
How cozy is Virginia? How cozy are you to get the hell out of here and go take a nap?
I'm starting to not think.
I can tell you're fading so bad.
3 hours of sleep.
You're probably so mad.
That's tough.
5 days of Mardi Gras compounded by only 3 hours of sleep.
You're probably cursing my name when that last thing was going so long.
I was laughing because Kevin threw Denny's down the stairs.
Imagine if Kevin was that big of a dick. There are dicky people like that in radio.
Oh, yeah. No, Kevin would never.
No way.
And Denny's wouldn't take a stairwell.
No.
He wouldn't.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
my
he'd be
gosh.
destroyed.
Yeah, well, you got time to rest up. Next Sunday is going to be the wild one. That's St. Patrick's Day, so you got time to get Vicious V back in gear.
I got to get back in gear by Sunday. I'm in the St. Patty's Day parade that Mulligan's is putting on in Jensen Beach. I'm the Grand Marshal.
You are?
Yes.
Well, look at you there.
Bragger.
No big deal.
Wow.
Went last year.
Big star, huh?
I got asked back.
Well, you
Kind of fancy.
I was Grand Marshal twice for Italian Fest or Feast of Little Italy, so I don't even know the name of the fucking festival. I don't even know the name
That's
of
poor.
it. Gosh,
Poor
I'm the
form.
worst Italian.
Yeah, it's poor form.
And the worst heckler.
Yeah.
I'm terrible. I'm tired too.
Poor form. We got to go take a nap, y'all.
Yeah, why do I feel like I was partying at Mardi Gras?
All right, got one more for the week. We'll see you back here for Friday. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.